This session obviously is Spotlight on Technology. Spotlight meaning it's fast and furious. We've got 7 presenters today. Just a quick overview of the Spotlight on Technology. This is the 3rd time we've done this at LAGCOE. All the exhibitors are able to apply for a presentation on one of their new technologies. Real quick, it has to be something that, to meet the criteria to be selected, to be new, innovative, proven, broad interest, and significant impact to our industry. So there's quite a few applications, and we try to get a good variety of good new technologies for people to come in and present. So we've got about 10 minutes for each speaker, and we'll go through this real quick, and we'll have to give you their booth name after we're done. So if you want to talk to them further about their technology, you certainly can. Pat Plugge, he's with E&B Green Solutions, to talk about his G-Clean products.
Good morning. I've had a chance to talk to Ben Broussard, who some of you may know from LOGA, the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association. I've talked to him many times. I'm from out in California and only get here to Louisiana very seldom. So we were chatting this week, and I had a chance to meet him face to face, and we got to chatting about personal things, and asked him where he went to school. He said LSU. And before I could say another word, he said, well, I see you went to West Point. And I said, well, these LSU Tigers are pretty perceptive. Was it my military bearing? Was it my command voice? What gave it away? He said, no, I saw your ring when you were picking your nose. Which kind of set the tone for things. I figured I had to get even. So a little bit later in the day, this was out at the golf course on Monday. I found myself in the men's room, standing right next to Ben, and he finished up a little earlier than I did. And he immediately walked toward the door. So I thought, now is my chance. So over my shoulder I said, you know, at my school, they taught us always to wash our hands before leaving the restroom. And he said, funny, at my school, they taught us never to pee on our hands. So those Tigers are pretty darn perceptive. E&B Green Solutions, we're a new organization. We're actually a sister company to E&B Natural Resources, which is headquartered in Bakersfield, California. It's an independent production company. We have operations in California, throughout California, East Texas, Kansas, Wyoming, and here in Louisiana. We're located out in Vinton and the Jennings area. We're the exclusive global distributor for the suite of products that are known as the G-Clean products. And our goal ultimately is to be a premier supplier of green products. Now when you say green, Mark and I were discussing this before we started. When you say green, a lot of times people kind of run the other way. So, you know, it's not easy being green, especially when you pose like this and you're from California. But what's difficult about being green is that a lot of folks are older in this industry and are kind of set in their ways, and they're using products to do cleanings and well stimulations that are old school to a certain degree. They're using things like mineral spirits, and our friends with xylene, and in fact, we even have some of our own folks that, with our well service company out in California, that like to use diesel, of all things, to do cleaning. So it's difficult sometimes to get folks to change. The other thing that causes us some problems with green technologies is the fact that there are a lot of folks out there that say they have a green product which is not green, or they say they have a green product and it doesn't work. And that allows me to work this photo into the presentation, because sometimes green really isn't green. What is a green product? We feel it matches 3 different criteria. First of all, it is non-toxic and safe. It's good for the environment. It's also good for the folks that have to apply the products. Second of all, it's renewable and sustainable. That means it comes from a renewable source, and that source will not be depleted for future use. In our case, our products are all manufactured from plant-based materials: soy, corn, palm oil, coconut oil, tall oils, and those sorts of things. And the last criteria for being a green product, which is really important, is it's got to be commercially viable. And that means that it's got to work as well as the other products that are out there for the same application. And there has to be a good business case for utilizing the green technology. What's the chemistry? This is really just kind of a high-level discussion of the chemistry. Basically, we take plant-based materials and those are processed to form a colloidal particle called a micelle. And what a micelle is a very small particle, typically 1 to 4 nanometers. That's like the size of 20 hydrogen atoms. It's activated when mixed with water. Our material does not work unless you add water to the material, because you have to add water so that the micelle is formed with a hydrophilic head and a hydrophobic tail. And its small surface to volume ratio allows it to then penetrate the hydrocarbon mass and also reduce the size of the hydrocarbons. Basically, in cleaning environment and a remediation environment, it makes those hydrocarbons much more amenable to the resident bacteria that's inside the oil itself, so that the mass can be bioremediated. I wanted to share with you an example. We've been doing extensive work in California with a variety of our materials, and this particular case study revolves around a tank cleaning. And as you can see, the product is inherently safe, it's environmentally friendly. The NFP ratings are all zeros, and there are no special hazards with these particular products. This chemistry, by the way, has been around for a very long time. It just has not been applied in our industry. The process compared several cleaning methods on 4 tanks that we had. They were Baker-style tanks, and all of those tanks were in the same service. They were all shipping tanks, so they had crude, probably API, somewhere around 17 or 18 in that space. We had to clean these tanks up to move them back to the owner. And what we did was we had a crew with a pressure washer, a mobile pressure washer that had a 250-gallon water tank on it. We had a safety group that was out monitoring our confined space entry and also managing our emergency response. And what we did was we had diluted one of our product, this tank cleaning product, 250 gallons of water to 1 gallon of our particular product. We cleaned 2 different tanks using this dilution rate, and we cleaned a 3rd tank using the standard method that these folks would use, which would be essentially hot water. One guy with a wand inside the tank and another guy with a squeegee pushing the oil out. This is the tank, and unfortunately these photos are not great, but this is a tank before being cleaned. You can see that there's a fair amount of hydrocarbon fouling still in there even after we had evacuated the tanks. This is from another angle, from the back side of the tank. After cleaning with the storage tank cleaner, this is what it looked like on the inside of the tank. Gets it right down to the metal, and this is important, especially in California, where regulations require us to test a lot of our tanks for integrity. So we have to get the tank clean so that we can do the non-destructive type testing so that we're compliant with our regulations. This is another view of that tank, and you can see that we cleaned it so well that it revealed the corrosion that was going on in the bottom of this particular tank. So the results. First of all, worker safety was enhanced. Our contract safety folks opened the tank, they sniffed it. The LEL levels were probably somewhere around 21 or 22. After fogging in a little bit of this 250 to 1 solution, we dropped those LELs down to below 1 within about 3 minutes. This particular product, the way it works is that it encapsulates and it suppresses VOCs, so it makes the environment for the workers that much more safe. Second of all, the time to clean was reduced dramatically. Remember I said that we compared our cleaning with the storage tank cleaner against the traditional method that these folks would use. Their traditional method, it took them a little over 8 hours to clean the tank and get it to an acceptable cleanliness. With the storage tank cleaner, the first go around, it took them 3 hours. The second go around, once they had a little bit of experience with the product, it took them 2 hours to clean it down. So we reduced the cleaning time by about 75%. So there's cost savings that are available here. Again, this is the commercial viability and making the business case for using green technology. So we saved on labor, we saved on equipment, we saved on water, because we only ran 1 tank of water the 250 gallons to do the cleaning using the storage tank cleaner. We had, therefore, waste minimization going on. We save fuel in terms of running the pressure washer and that sort of thing. And we reduce the cost for disposal. In California, our disposal folks will get rid of the wash waste out of a tank like this, and they will charge you by the barrel. So if you can reduce the amount of waste that you have, obviously you're going to reduce the amount of cost. Our products are expensive. We ship them in a highly concentrated form. So what we have to do, one, is we have to dilute them on site, because remember, we need to activate them with water. But second of all, we have to look at the entire project cost. If you compare us to a standard chemical or a standard soap, on a dollars per gallon basis, we lose every time. So we have to do the analysis, and that's part of the deliverable that we provide with the chemical itself, is coming out, surveying the project, being on site to provide application technology, and then following up afterwards to make sure that we did what we said we were going to do. So what are the conclusions? We feel that using that non-toxic and renewable product can result in an effective cleaning. We've seen this with some of our other products as well, only unfortunately we don't have enough time to talk about some of the other applications, but I would direct your attention down to the third bullet point there, the G-Clean Well Wake Up. That particular product, using the same type of chemical approach, can be used for well stimulations. If you have a well that's impacted with paraffins or asphaltenes, we can clean those wells up, and we have a lot of work and results in that regard as well. And then that last product, the G-Clean Surface Wash, that is a product that is listed by the EPA. It was used after the Deep Horizon spill to clean up some of the beaches in Florida after some of the oil had been hydraulically pushed up onto the beach itself. But last but not least, application of a green technology can in fact make good business sense. You've got to pick the right projects and you've got to do the right analysis, but it actually can help you in a business case. That's my information. Unfortunately, we don't have a booth here. We got here kind of late to the dance. We're a gold sponsor for LAGCOE, and we sponsored a hole out at the golf course. If some of you were out there, we were doing that, but unfortunately we do not have a booth. However, I'm going to stick around afterwards, and so if you have questions, I will be up front here. Thank you.
Thank you very much from LAGCOE. Appreciate it.